At some point, almost every homeowner notices it, usually when they least expect it. One day you walk into your bathroom, turn on the light, and something feels off. The toilet looks clean, the bowl is fine, the bathroom smells fresh, but the toilet seat itself looks wrong. Not dirty, not stained in patches, just slowly, quietly yellow. And the more you look at it, the more it bothers you, because you know it didn't look like that before. You wipe it once, nothing changes. You scrub it harder, still yellow. And that's when the thought hits your mind. Is this just age? Is this permanent? Do I really need to replace it? Most people in the United States stop right there. They assume yellowing is normal. They assume plastic simply gives up over time. They assume the only solution is spending money on a new seat. But what if that assumption is completely wrong? What if your toilet seat isn't old at all, but chemically altered in a way that can actually be reversed? Because that yellow color you're seeing isn't dirt sitting on the surface. It's something much deeper. And understanding that difference changes everything. Here's what almost nobody explains. Toilet seats are not made from simple plastic. They are made from treated polymers designed to be strong, smooth, and resistant to moisture. When they leave the factory, they're protected, sealed, and stable. But over time, something begins to attack that surface layer very slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 1 week. It happens quietly over months and years until one day the white is gone and yellow has taken its place. Most people think cleaning products cause this. Some think it's urine. Others blame hard water. The truth is more interesting than that. Yellowing happens because the surface chemistry of the plastic changes. Oxygen, heat, moisture, and certain chemicals slowly break down the protective layer of the seat. Once that layer weakens, the material underneath reacts with air and light, creating that stubborn yellow tone that no normal cleaner can touch. That's why wiping feels useless. That's why scrubbing feels pointless. You're trying to remove something that isn't sitting on top. You're trying to wipe away a chemical change. And that's also why many people accidentally make it worse. Strong cleaners, bleach sprays, abrasive pads, and rough scrubbing don't restore the seat. They damage it further. They strip away what little protection is left, allowing the yellowing process to speed up. There's a real story that explains this perfectly. A retired couple in Florida noticed their toilet seat turning yellow even though they cleaned their bathroom every week. They tried everything they could find at the store: bleach wipes, disinfectant sprays, even abrasive cleaners meant for tough stains. Each time, the seat looked a little duller, a little rougher, and a little more yellow. Eventually, they assumed the seat was expired, but when they showed it to a friend who worked with plastics and manufacturing, he told them something surprising. The seat wasn't dirty, it was oxidized, and oxidation, if treated correctly, can be reversed or dramatically reduced. This is where things get interesting. Oxidation is not a stain. It's a chemical reaction between oxygen and the surface of the plastic. Heat from bathrooms, steam from showers, UV light from windows, and harsh cleaners all accelerate this process. Once oxidation starts, it spreads evenly, which is why the yellowing looks uniform rather than spotty. And because it's chemical, not physical dirt, normal cleaners simply glide over it without changing anything. This explains why so many people feel frustrated. They clean harder but see no reward. They buy stronger products but get worse results. And eventually, they give up and replace the seat, unknowingly repeating the same cycle with the new one. But here's the part most people never hear. Oxidation doesn't mean the plastic is ruined. It means the surface needs to be chemically reset, not scrubbed. Think about this for a moment. If yellowing were permanent, every white plastic object would stay yellow forever. But that's not true. Restoration industries fix yellowed plastics all the time, from appliance panels to car interiors. The difference is not strength, it's method, and toilets are no exception. Now here's the mistake almost everyone makes at this point. They jump straight to a hack without understanding the surface they're working on. They mix random ingredients, try viral tricks, and expect instant results. When it doesn't work, they assume nothing works. But just like with anything scientific, sequence matters, timing matters, and preparation matters more than the product itself. Before you can make a yellowed toilet seat white again, you must first stop the process that's still happening. Many people try to whiten while oxidation is still actively forming. That's like trying to dry a floor while the fountain is still running. Bathrooms are warm, humid environments. Moisture and heat continue to feed the chemical reaction unless you control them. That's why some people see temporary improvement, only to have the yellow return weeks later. Another thing nobody explains is the type of plastic matters. Some toilet seats are polypropylene, others are thermoset plastics. They react differently to cleaners, light, and heat. That's why one person's miracle trick fails for someone else. Without understanding this, people assume the problem is them, not the method. There's also a psychological reason this issue feels so annoying. A yellowed toilet seat makes a clean bathroom feel dirty. Even if everything else is spotless, the eye goes straight to that off-white color. It creates the feeling that something is wrong, unfinished, or neglected. That's why people obsess over it more than almost any other bathroom issue. Now here's where this video starts to change things, because whitening a toilet seat is not about force, it's about reversing a chemical condition safely and slowly, and when done correctly, the results don't just look better, they last longer, much longer. In the next part, you're going to learn why common household cleaners fail completely on yellowed plastic, why bleach is actually one of the worst things you can use, and what condition must be created before any whitening method can work at all. Once you understand that, the actual hacks become simple, almost surprisingly simple. Most people skip this understanding step. That's why they stay stuck. You're not going to make that mistake, because once you see what's really happening on the surface of your toilet seat, you'll realize the yellow was never permanent. It was just waiting for the right approach. Once you accept that a yellowed toilet seat doesn't need to be replaced, the next question becomes very simple. What actually works without damaging it further? The answer is not one magical product, but a series of easy, low-effort methods that work with the material instead of against it. The mistake most people make is trying to force results quickly. Whitening plastic is about patience, contact, and consistency. When those three line up, even badly yellowed seats begin to change. The first and easiest hack starts with something almost every American home already has, but uses it in a way most people never think about. Baking soda is often treated like a scrub, but scrubbing is exactly what you want to avoid. Instead of friction, baking soda should be used as a slow-working surface corrector. When mixed into a thick paste with a small amount of water, it creates a mildly alkaline environment that helps lift discoloration without scratching the plastic. The key is thickness. If the paste slides, it's too thin. It should sit on the seat like frosting. Once applied evenly, it should be left alone, not rubbed, not wiped, not touched. Time does the work here. After 30 to 40 minutes, the paste begins to dry slightly, and when wiped away gently with a soft cloth, many people notice the yellow has softened, not disappeared completely, but shifted. That shift is important. It means the surface is responding. What surprises people most is that repeating this process 2 or 3 times works far better than doing it once aggressively. Plastic responds better to repeated gentle treatment than to one harsh attempt. This is why people who fail often say, "I tried baking soda and it didn't work," when in reality they rushed it or scrubbed too hard. Whitening is cumulative. Each pass improves the surface slightly, and those small changes add up. Another extremely effective hack uses hydrogen peroxide, but not in the way most people imagine. Pouring liquid peroxide directly onto a toilet seat rarely works well because it evaporates too quickly. What actually works is trapping it against the surface. This is why cream-based peroxide products, like those used in hair bleaching, are so effective on plastic. They are designed to stay wet and active for long periods. When spread evenly across a yellowed toilet seat and covered lightly with plastic wrap to slow evaporation, peroxide has time to penetrate the oxidized layer. Over several hours, it breaks down the compounds causing discoloration. This is not instant. In fact, the longer it sits safely, the better the result. Many people are shocked when they remove the wrap and see that the yellow is not gone completely, but noticeably lighter and more even. That's the moment they realize the process is working. One important tip that saves people from ruining their seat is heat control. Hydrogen peroxide works faster in warmth, but too much heat warps plastic. Leaving a toilet seat in direct sunlight or using a heat gun is a mistake. A warm bathroom is enough. Gentle warmth accelerates the reaction without damaging the material. This balance is what separates successful whitening from melted plastic disasters people warn about online. For viewers who want an even easier method, there is a surprisingly effective overnight approach that requires almost no effort. Oxygen-based cleaners, the kind often used for laundry, release oxygen slowly when dissolved. When mixed into a thick solution and applied to the seat, they create a slow oxidation reversal effect, similar to peroxide but gentler. Left overnight and wiped away in the morning, many seats show visible improvement after just one application. This method works especially well for seats that are lightly yellowed, rather than deeply discolored. It's ideal for people who want progress without babysitting the process. One hack people often overlook is simply controlling what touches the seat moving forward. Many toilet seats yellow faster because of the products used around them. Aerosol cleaners sprayed into the air settle on plastic surfaces and slowly degrade them. Bleach fumes alone can cause yellowing over time, even without direct contact. Switching to gentler cleaners and wiping the seat with plain water after cleaning the rest of the toilet makes a noticeable difference. It's a small habit, but it prevents re-yellowing after whitening. Another extremely simple but powerful tip is using a magic eraser correctly. Most people scrub aggressively with it, which damages the surface. The correct way is light pressure only, using it more like a polishing sponge than a scrub pad. When combined with a mild cleaner or baking soda paste, it smooths the surface without digging into it. A smoother surface reflects light better, which visually restores whiteness and slows future discoloration. Some people are surprised to learn that even toothpaste can help in certain cases. Not whitening toothpaste with harsh abrasives, but plain white toothpaste with mild polishing agents. Applied with a soft cloth and worked gently over time, it can brighten the surface and remove the dull yellow haze. This method is slow, but it's incredibly safe and works well as a maintenance step after deeper whitening methods. One of the most underrated hacks is simply patience paired with repetition. Whitening plastic rarely happens in one session, unless the discoloration is very light. Most successful restorations happen over several days. Each treatment lifts the color a little more, evens the tone, and restores brightness gradually. People who succeed don't rush. They let chemistry do what force never could. A real story from Michigan shows how effective this approach can be. A homeowner had a toilet seat that looked permanently yellow after 10 years. Instead of replacing it, she applied peroxide cream once a week for a month, keeping it covered and undisturbed each time. By the 4th week, the seat looked nearly new. More importantly, it stayed that way because she stopped using harsh cleaners afterward. That combination, restoration plus prevention, is what makes the result last. Another practical tip that saves time is knowing when to stop. Whitening reaches a point of diminishing returns. Chasing perfect factory white can lead people to overdo it and damage the surface. The goal is clean, even, and bright, not chemically stripped. A seat that is evenly off-white looks far better than one that's patchy or scratched from overtreatment. For viewers worried about safety, ventilation is always important. Even gentle products can irritate when concentrated. Opening a window or running a fan makes the process more comfortable and safer, especially for longer treatments. This small step is often ignored but makes a big difference in overall experience. One final habit that keeps toilet seats white longer than any hack is regular, gentle wiping. A quick wipe with a damp cloth once or twice a week prevents residue buildup that feeds discoloration. It takes seconds and saves hours of restoration later.
People who adopt this habit often find they never need to whiten again. At this point, most viewers realize something important. Whitening a toilet seat isn't hard. It was never about strength or expensive products. It was about understanding the material, using time instead of force, and choosing the right level of treatment for the problem. Once that clicks, the frustration disappears. In the next part, everything will come together naturally. You'll see how to maintain the whiteness long term, what habits silently cause yellowing to return, and how to make sure the work you've done lasts for years instead of weeks. That's where most people fail, and that's exactly what you're about to avoid.
By now, you've seen that a yellowed toilet seat was never a lost cause. It wasn't about dirt, neglect, or age. It was about understanding what the surface was going through and treating it the right way instead of fighting it. Once you stop rushing, stop scrubbing, and let simple methods work with time, the change feels almost effortless. What looked permanent slowly fades, and what felt frustrating suddenly feels manageable. The best part is this isn't just about a toilet seat. It's about realizing that many things in our homes don't need replacing, only the right approach. A few small changes, a little patience, and smarter habits can save money, save time, and remove stress you didn't even realize you were carrying. If this helped you see cleaning differently, you're exactly the kind of person this channel is made for. Simple fixes, real results, no unnecessary work. And if you want more practical home tips that actually last, make sure you stay connected. Because when you understand how things really work, even the most annoying problems stop being problems at all. Take care of your home and enjoy the difference.